Okay, men have submitted to my demands. I just haven't really demanded what you think I did, and that was a relationship. And I've never demanded a relationship from anyone. But they do what I say, because I have been actually the power house of these phases or talking phases or hookup phases and all that stuff. Like I have been the one that gives more. Like I don't know, we'll eat, we'll order DoorDash because we didn't really leave much, but sure. I would pay, I would do whatever, and he was happy as hell. I think the issue before, our issue with me saying that I'm okay with being the breadwinner was that it was misconstrued. I simply just meant that I think it pushes us backwards if we're just expecting men to be the breadwinner all the time. Women can be the breadwinner. And also not every woman wants to be a stay-at-home mom if she's making bread, and if the husband's fine with it. There's so many stay-at-home dads nowadays too. And
yeah, but that's not happy. I don't think that's a very fulfilling and happy relationship for those two. It's not the ideal scenario. We're trying to pretend the arrogance we have, and I'm not saying you specifically, I mean our society, right? The arrogance that we have in this generation to think that what's worked for humans for thousands of years, we somehow know better because we have an iPhone and we have Instagram. Oh, we're better than our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our great-great-great-grandparents who lived and strived through much harder living conditions than we could ever possibly imagine. And they did it successfully because the mother stayed at home and raised the kids and the man went out and brought home the bacon.
The divorce rate is 50%.
Now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and look what we're doing. We're doing exactly what you just described.
There are people who are married in where the male is the breadwinner and they still get divorces. And then the woman is left.
But that's also because the marriage laws are fucked up here.
Women initiate the divorces.
Bingo.
Not always. There's been women that I know, they were left with nothing.
But statistically, women initiate the divorces more.
Oh, okay. You didn't specify, so I was confused. But
Natasha,
there are so many women, I see stories also they have nothing because they put all their faith in the breadwinning man.
And they're because they vet them poorly. I think women vet men poorly nowadays.
I completely agree with that.
You have this idea that you want them to be, and you actually don't vet them out. So
I would like to ask you a question, and then being someone's very opinionated and relationship coach, and then I'd like to hear your opinions on this too.
Wow.
How would you? No, because it's specifically her. Because it's her specialty, right? How would you feel? Hypothetically, let's say you weren't already married to your guy, right? How would you feel about your father vetting your dating choices?
I have no problem with that.
Excellent answer. Ladies?
Are you Vietnamese, by the way? Okay.
How would you feel about your, let's say brand new hypothetical dating app, but all the guys you swipe right on, your dad has to approve them or not, and then he has to meet the guy on the first date and approve him or not.
Okay, so I would give that a chance, but I don't know. I don't agree everything with my dad, so.
What's the name of the app, by the way? Is it called Daddy?
That's actually an app.
Daddy,
Daddy,
like Norelli said.
Bad connotations to it.
I've actually seen that. That reminds me. I think it was a BuzzFeed video or something. Or am I allowed to say that? BuzzFeed.
But yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Posture check though. We need a little posture check on you.
So yeah, I saw a video on BuzzFeed where the guys would have their moms pick their first dates and stuff. So. I think it could be interesting.
Arranged marriages have a higher success rate.
I don't know. I feel like they're not very happy, a lot of people. A lot of people are not happy in arranged marriages.
I think it's because they don't have the perception of what they're missing out on. I think us girls in the West,
not everyone's compatible with everyone.
No, but girls here in the West would look at women in Saudi Arabia or in the East and be like, oh, she's not happy. But it's because you're projecting. Happy. You're projecting what you think. If you were in her shoes, you'd be like, oh, I'm not happy. But the reality,
if you haven't experienced all that, then you're not going to think, oh, I'm not happy.
Not all the experience needs to be experienced. You don't need to do meth to know it's going to fuck your life
up. Literally.
Right. That's all I'm saying.
Can I get the answer, a quick answer from everyone else, all the other women, about that question I just asked? Would you approve of your dad vetting your dating partners? Well, you especially.
That's a touchy subject. Yeah.
Fully no, because I'm my own individual and he doesn't necessarily know everything about me.
Okay, so basically no.
But I would say yes because he knows all the wrongs that he's done. And he is a man and he knows how they think. So it's to take his opinion into consideration very much. But I just don't think that he should have full control over who I marry. Because you still have to have that energy between somebody. If you say, oh, you have to marry him. And I'm like, but
I don't have a spark. When I look at him, I don't feel safe, or whatever that feeling is inside of me that he can't feel because he's a man and he's not a woman and he is outside of my body. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I do get that, but let's say you had that spark with a guy and your father came along and said, you know what? I've spent time around this guy. He's giving me player vibes. This guy, I don't think this guy will commit to you. As a much older, wiser man, I would respect that you not date this man. Would you take your father's advice on that?
I would believe him, and then I would take the time to see out what he said, because I am stubborn and I want to see this through. But I do hear this, and now I can see every single thing that you're saying. So now I'll take my step away. But I don't want you to fully make my decisions, because I am independent. I am my own person, my own being.
What about the rest of you guys? I'm curious.
So, I have a non-traditional father, so
Not surprising.
I feel like his choices would probably be a little too wild for me.
Maybe.
So, I mean, I'm open to it, but more hints.
Oh yeah. Sorry, no,
Don't take it for sure. What would you say?
I think, like, I definitely value my dad's opinion, and he definitely, like, he's a smart man. I respect him and all that stuff. But again, like what you said, my dad is not in my body, and he can't feel like those feelings romantically. And so, like, I feel like if he had his issues with a man, yes, I would consider them, but I wouldn't make that my turning point into whether a relationship will fail or not.
But you know what I would say to that is that the very fact that you're basing your choice in men purely on emotion is the problem in the first place.
Because a man doesn't really think through his emotions.
Your father, I mean, again, this is kind of my argument here, is that, like, and I still would love to hear, you know, everyone else's opinion on this, but I think your father, who's like, he's definitely going to be older than you, right? Let's say at least 18 years older than you, right? He's going to know more about men and what they are capable of, how men lie, how men can deceive a woman, like what a player looks like. He's going to be able to recognize that without any emotion.
Could it go the other way? If your dad, if your dad's mom, if your grandma was like, oh, I don't want you to see that girl, she is a fucking conniving menace.
If your mother
told you that,
you know how I think would be a better
stop, right?
You know how I think would be a better choice of that, actually, would probably be a grandmother, because she's gone through menopause. So she's got way less emotions than my mother would have had. Seriously, that's my honest answer. Like, a grandma is going to be like, you know what, babe? She is lying. She's going to break your heart. X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. She's not going to make a good mother. I'd actually respect my grandma's opinion on that, to be perfectly honest.
But your mom would be like, she's a bitch.
I mean, it would depend, like, how old my mother was at the time, obviously. I'm a bit older than you guys, but yeah, I think the grandmother's opinion, because she's like one step removed, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, and she wants grandkids, because she's grandma. She wants, like, great-grandkids.
So she's not going to push you away from it.
She's going to push me towards a mother.
Exactly.
That's what she's going to do. Yeah.
All right, couple things here, guys. Yo, there's 5,000 people watching right now. The chat is on fire.